Well, now we're really live back with Glitch 2600. I'm Glitch, aka Brian. We had a little snafu earlier testing out new technology. That's the fun thing of new technology. And it looks like, at least on one part, that I can see that we're back. At least let me flip over here. It looks like we're back. So that's looking really good. And hopefully, from what I can tell, it looks like we're live on YouTube right now too, which is really exciting. So that's what we were testing. We wanted to see how it's looking when we're chatting through. You kind of saw the Facebook icon down there. We're testing going to multiple platforms at the same time. I'm going to enjoy my wine. No, it's not a happy hour. It's also not a geek out today. This is purely testing. I think we're going to still have our geek outs. We're going to have our bits and our bites that if you're new here, we'll talk about that if you have questions. Yeah. Very good to know. So it shows this is all working, which I'm excited about. So now that we have that, I do want to talk. This month I'm doing something called LEDA, which is live every day in August. Now, I'm not necessarily doing live every day here. I may, extend that. I'm doing it in a special private group to work on my presentation and skills as I get better as a live presenter and to make the channel and all that stuff better. So we go over daily challenges, and today was talking about strengths and flaws to kind of highlight and figure out those kind of flaws that you might see as a flaw that others might see as a strength too, and to kind of build that up. So of course, me on day one, we might as well talk about it. It was me talking about, on that one is, if you came with a warning label, what would that warning label be? Well, I'm a geek. I geek out. That's why we have the show. If you ask a computer question, there's a good chance I'm going to bury you in an answer. And so that's my warning label is be careful, geek ahead for the most part. Kind of like road slippery ahead. You start that path, we're going to be there. Which went into my strengths and faults, because that's where those kind of come in. And kind of delve into, as some other people told me, something called the imposter mentality, where you don't always think you deserve what you have and what you're doing and that you're the best at it. With my photography, I definitely could sometimes get that way. I'm a certified professional photographer. There's only, of all the photographers you ever meet, because everyone's a photographer now, but even back in the day, only about 3 to 5% of every photographer you ever meet is likely a CPP. And I got mine pretty early on. But even as I'd win awards or do different things, I didn't always think that I deserved it. And I kept going, hey, am I a hack? Do I really know about photography what I think I know? Or what people think I know? And it was one of those things where you get into that head. And that's one of my faults and one of my strengths, though, too, because those types of things propel me to work harder. Sometimes too hard. But that's one of the things that came up as this LEDA challenge. And I already got some stuff for tomorrow. I haven't looked at it yet. I'm kind of both scared and excited to look at it. But we do this into a private group, and that allows us to grow and get stronger through it. But having said that, working on some more changes to the set, and I have some very exciting, cool news to show everyone. I'm super excited about it, and so I'm going to share it. Look over there. There we go. We'll do it that way. I'm going to have to just start mirroring the camera. That's the new logo, Glitch 2600. There is another one that some people got to see private that is a little caricature of my face, and I enjoy it, but I'm not always going to be the one on the screen, so I'm going to go through and make a better one of that, because the original one was cut off from here up and it was kind of geeky, and I'd rather have a full face one, in which case then I'll probably pop that up over here in the corner, because why not? But yeah, we've got some cool new logos. So if I pop that on there, you can see that. Otherwise, I've got it with an outline that we can throw over there. And then there's one that's black, which you can't see on there. If I switched my setup, we'll go over here, and I'll step there. This will allow us to go, hey, you can kind of see it. Not the best in that background area, but that'll allow you to see this one down there, which is way cooler. So that's kind of new. We were talking about we should be getting that at some point. So now you can see that logo. You can see where that's going. We're gonna work on some swag. Maybe I'll have a shirt. Maybe I'll have some other stuff. Right now I'm rocking my Operation Pinball shirt, but we'll be working on that. And maybe some mugs, some stickers, because I'd love to see Glitch 2600 everywhere out there where people can ask and get answers for those tech and geek questions. People stop me and ask me all the time, and I figure, why not do that live on air and help everyone? The funny thing is, people still just ask me face to face and don't really bring it on live all the time. So hopefully that changes and we just get a rolling users. I'm kind of hoping by going live to multiple platforms, and as we work on that, it just increases the audience, because those questions, most likely, if you are scared to ask it, someone else might ask it for you, but or if you're scared and you ask that question, someone else may have been scared and didn't ask the question too. Really, you have nothing to be scared of on here. No one's going to tell you you're stupid. We're not going to bring up the ID 10T error, which, if you're really curious, spell it out. ID 10 looks like, T. It spells out idiot. We don't say you're not an idiot. There's no ID 10T error. If anyone gets the ID 10T error, it's me. Or we might say, as a joke, I would say sometimes I screw up. When I screw up, I say there was a pre-keyboard error. That's me before I got to the keyboard. Or a short circuit between the keyboard and the chair. The only thing between the keyboard and the chair is me. So, if anything, I'll pick on myself. I make mistakes with computers in there, so don't be scared to ask those questions. The only thing that happens by not asking questions or referring friends that might have those questions is that you end up with something that's broke and spending a lot of money to repair it. Where a lot of times we catch things early, or so those questions before it gets worse, it gets better. I mean, if you drive on a tire, you start losing air pressure and you just keep filling it up with air or just ignore it, eventually you have a flat tire, and then that's a little bit more to take care of. But you can come on here, ask those questions, and I'm happy to answer them. So, like I said, today is just me testing out the chat program, seeing what it's like going live to multiple platforms at the same time. I'll probably grow some other ones. Like I said, I'm paying for this one. The software I use is working on their own native system. The problem with the native system, it requires, at least from what I understand right now, with the service I'm using, you upload to one place and it spans out to all of them. So if you need 5 or 10 meg upload, which is generally what you need for streaming, is at least between 5 and 10 meg upload to get a really good, reliable stream. With that, when you go to one, it spans it all out, you still only need that. Some services say, well, I'll send it to 5 at the same time for you. Well, that means you need 5 or 10 plus 10 plus 10 for Facebook, YouTube, no longer Mixer, Twitch, LinkedIn Live, all these different ones. There's 30 of them on this software. So you imagine if each one needed it, it would use up all your upload bandwidth. So still trying to figure out, I don't hide, I use Ecamm. I really like Ecamm. I've used OBS, I've messed with OBS. I think Ecamm is just a lot easier to use. And I've got other tech gear. I'm using my A10 Mini Pro, which if you are into live streaming and you want to know more about A10 and the A10 Mini Pro, I've been working up little hacks and learning more. I'm happy to do a tutorial on there. Just let us know and we'll cover that. Our computer questions, or these geek questions, don't have to just be computers. We have drones, photography, all that, videography as we're working on this. If you want to know my setup, I'm working on a one desk, one kind of clamp system setup, along with I'm looking at like a one stand one. I've seen some really good stuff on that. Got to pop that up there. Let's undo the logo for a second. So I got to figure out where to put that now that that's in there. Can I get ID 10T? You could. I think that would actually be kind of funny, but we'll see if anyone catches that when they're on the plane. Here, we're going to go like this. How's that look up there? It's a little green, but considering there's not going to be any comments right there, we'll pop that down. We'll put that right there. That way it's easier to read. So I use Ecamm. they're working on that. They're working on a really cool guest feature too, to where you don't have to use Skype or anything like that, which brings up my next part. You guys on YouTube, you guys on Facebook, one, click and subscribe if you really want to be part of all this as I keep going, and our happy hours, which are also fun. And you want to ask those questions, you can go through there. You can write me through the Facebook page. There's lots of different spots to come contact us. You just look up Glitch 2600. But where I was going with that is we completely lost my train of thought. So the fun thing about live is even I can have a pre-brain error. But we are going to be expanding those out. I've got, like I said, we'll be answering any of those questions that you get. But I could cover A10 Mini Pro, but I use the UCAM one, but the Skype. There we go. The reason why I mentioned that is one of the possibilities I've been thinking about for the channel, and you guys let me know if you're interested, is we used to do a thing called, we used to have Gnome Radio when I was with Locker Gnome. And then, we went Tech TV and we had Call for Help. But would you guys like to be able to live call in? If so, say yes. Say live is cool. Thumbs up. And we can work on trying to get maybe a Skype connection for now until we get the guest feature where we can bring you live. And it can be just audio. That's the nice thing about Skype and those ones is that it can be just audio. We can bring you in and you don't have to show your face. In the days of COVID, I have all my meetings with Teams in Skype, and I don't show my face most of the time because I'm probably wearing one of my Iowa Craft Beer t-shirts, and that doesn't go so well in some meetings. But we could do that. But if you'd be interested, we could set up that channel and give that capability to call in. And that might be easier. Maybe you don't like to type and want to have that interaction that way. We'd bring you on live. They'd hear your voice. That's the only downside. If you're self-conscious about that. But if you'd be interested, let me know, because I'm a geek and I'd love to make that happen. I'll test that out with my kind of private group and then see about bringing that on here. But no, really, you guys got to hear a little bit of my LEDA challenge. If you are new here, if you're not new here, still say hi. I'd like to say hi. Working on some new lighting setup for back here. Actually working on a lighting setup for upstairs too. So maybe the happy hours will take place down in the bar, and then everything else take place up in the tech room area. That's why we're working on a desk setup where we have one clamp and lights coming off that and all of that to be in one setup. Especially since I do have to tear down and reset up for some of the live streams I do. And I'm going to take a drink of wine because I can. It's a great rosé. Again, I can get away with saying what it is because this isn't the Geek Out session. It's not happy hour either, so I can mention having the Cristom, rosé Pinot Noir from Willamette. That's where, if you're ever curious, we'll show that there. Focus. Willamette Valley. It's not Willamette. It's Willamette. And you want to know how you always remember that? Good friend at Wine Styles once told me, it's Willamette, damn it. Say it that way, you'll never get it wrong ever again. So once I heard that, it's been Willamette, damn it, ever since. But again, this isn't our normal Geek Out session. I'm expecting that we're going to do a Geek Out session this week. So if there is a day or time that would work better for you, we'll try to get that in. I'm busy on Friday. But other than that, we can have 1 or 2 Geek Out sessions this week. I do think I'm going to do a couple LEDA-like challenges here too. It's not going to be live every day in August on here. But I am going to push myself to hit a few more times during the week since we've got the setup running. So I'll still be on here answering those questions. I'm probably going to record some more of the little bits and bytes. We're going to get those through. So you'll be seeing those updating. Working on one just about the airdrop and turn that on. We recorded another session, but I just want to cut that into a smaller one and bring that up there so people know how to turn on their airdrop properly. Different things. I'm looking at some printers right now. So what I'm looking for in a laser printer, what I like, in a laser? Why laser printer over inkjet? We can discuss. A peanut is neither a pea nor a nut. Now, I am partial to if you're doing photo work, inkjets more specifically. I prefer you go to a lab and get that done there. But if you're printing at home, you use an inkjet. If you're printing for everything else and want to save money, laser. Laser is drastically cheaper and fuses at the minute level. Inkjet, just very, very minute micron drops of ink in your CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black for K because they couldn't put B. So K is black. So CMYK, and then you have some that are CC, or light cyan, LC for light cyan, light magenta, light, if you get some of the Epsons. But it does these little micron droplets. But if you get a inkjet print wet, you'll see it just bleeds. Where if you get a laser one, it fuses it to the paper. There's actually a part on the printer called a fuser, and it charges that to the imaging drum, rolls it, and fuses it onto the paper, which means you can get it wet and it won't bleed. The paper itself will look bad, but if you've ever gotten, not necessarily a book wet, but like an instruction manual, you'll notice that, you have to dry it out, but it doesn't bleed everywhere. You just have to hit it with the hair dryer, and it dries out because it's fused. It's that laser printer. But I digress. I'm kind of rambling around. I don't know that this is going to be a long one today because, again, we're just testing, and so far it looks good. I'm able to pull in, looks like multiple sources. It looks like it's actually working this time. Got some ideas to monitor it in the future so we won't have the little snafu. Hopefully be able to send it out the way I like it to look on there. So using mostly flight dock printing. So later is where I want to be. Laser, yes. A laser printer for home. You can get a black and white one really cheap. You can get a black and white laser printer for $40 now. 30, 40. You can get a color one cheaper too. You start to pay when you get the ones that do a copier and a printer and does two-sided, and that you can always take the paper out and turn it over. The easiest way to know, or when you're learning which way it's going to go through, is just put a little, use blue or red pen and just mark the corner, and then that you fed it in, so the far right-hand corner, and that'll tell you which way it's going to feed and come out. If you got to flip it over or not. It's the easiest way if you don't have what's called a duplexer, or that's that automatic two-sided printing where it feeds it back through for you without you touching it. Obviously, that runs up in cost. Right now, you can go to Costco, get an amazing HP laser color with copier, touchscreen, duplexer, so it does both sides, fax copy, drive your car, all sorts of stuff for $300, which you go, holy crap, $300. Each print or that toner is normally good for about 1,200 to 1,500 prints, as compared to your inkjet, where the ink is probably only good for 200 to maybe 500 prints, depending on if it's a high capacity or not. Now, when I say 12 to 1,500 for the regular on a laser, that's without it going into, some of those have high capacity cartridges too. So when you get a high capacity laser cartridge, it can do closer to 3,000 to 5,000 prints. So like a black one, you can get almost 5,000 plus prints out of it. Can I put both together and decide which one? Yeah, you can have two printers. You can have 3, 4, 5. You can have 20 printers on your machine if you want. In the corporate world, we use things called print servers, which is just a server that's connected to 100 to 200 printers and serving them out to everyone. So you can definitely do that. If they're network enabled, you can do it way easy. One, if they're USB, you just plug them both in and you're fine. You can unplug one, plug in the other, unplug one, plug in the other. But if you get the ones that have Wi-Fi, you put them both on your network, and if If you pick one and you pick the other. Or if your laser one is that way, then you just say color laser, you put the name on it. And on your machine, you choose it. The nice thing I like about HPs, and most of them nowadays do it anyway, is most laser printers and most inkjets, but most lasers support AirPrint. So if you have an iPhone or iPad, you don't need it connected to a machine. You can just choose it and it just shows up. It doesn't have to be served out from a desktop. HP was the first one to really do that. And so pretty much every HP printer supports a level of AirPrint. So I like the HP ones for that reason. I do like Canons too, and a lot of those support it. So it becomes going back and forth between those on which one is on sale. You know, from that point of view, I do find it's sometimes easier to get cartridges for the HP or aftermarket ones, whichever way you want to go. You know, if you have the money, Ricoh printers are really good and they're up there. You can get Brother. There's tons out there of different styles. I do like my Samsung printer, but it hasn't lasted quite as well. My black and white is great. My color had a toning or a imaging drum issue. So the cost to buy the imaging drum was about halfway to the cost of getting a new printer. So I said, forget it, and I got rid of it. And I just have the black and white, which is why I'm looking at getting a new color laser printer. And that's Wine Styles is thinking about moving to that too, because they do all their stuff on inkjet. And if you do the math on there, it starts to add up pretty quick. If a laser costs you and can do 27 pages per minute, or 30, let's just say 20 pages per minute. We'll be, really simple on it. Let's say it does 20 pages per minute on a laser printer, in color or black and white. But let's just say, it doesn't matter, 20 pages per minute. And it does that. And let's say each one still costs 20 cents a print. I think it's less than that, but let's just say it's 20 cents a print. Well, one, you can get through them very quickly if you have people waiting around. So if you're running a business, 20 pages per minute is great because you're not paying someone who's sitting there going, come on, come on, come on, come on. The print's coming out and they're good to go. Where when you have an inkjet one, you might be paying 50 to 80 cents, even $1 per print when you figure up all the math on there. But on top of it, it's printing 3, maybe 10 pages per minute if it's a fast inkjet, in which case means you've got someone waiting around twice as much and you're paying a certain amount waiting on them. So the overall cost is higher with an inkjet. Easy for home if you're printing photos, but really, I would much rather you go to a lab, use like MPix Pro, MPIX Pro. They're a great lab if you're a photographer. Use White House Custom Color or ACI, American Custom Imaging, Miller's, one of the good labs. But if you're at home, you want something that's better than Shutterfly and better than the other ones, go with Miller, or Miller runs MPix Pro, so you get a pro level experience. But then you get better photos than your inkjet. Yeah, you don't get it today. You have to wait a day or two for it to ship. But really, the photos are better. You get metallic paper, all sorts of really cool stuff. Okay. Pull up my docs on my phone and I hit print. I haven't gotten... No, that's not Wi-Fi printing. That's AirPrint. That means the printer supports air printing. So, which I had to read that a couple times. Yeah, when you just hit print on your phone, that's what I'm talking about with AirPrint. The laser printer can support it. Not all printers support it. Most laser printers do. Inkjets, most do now too, but if it's an HP printer, you're pretty much guaranteed it's going to support AirPrint. So definitely, that's what you're seeing is it's called AirPrint. At home, since I have the Samsung, I had to have a server desktop up and running with it connected, and it was sharing that out so I could print from my printer. So now that machine is being repaired, or I've got it taken apart in pieces and trying to get something running with it and debating, kind of going, I don't know that I want to do that. I'm just building a laptop dock station instead. since the kids have laptops, I now have a laptop again. I run off my iPad. I don't know that I need my Mac Pro running in the background all the time, just being a little server. I don't know that I need that much going on. It served me well. It's a Mac Pro from a long time ago. It's one of the, if you look up cheese grater Macs, it's one of those, one of the earlier ones of those. It still had a lot of power, but they're not releasing OSs for it really. And so it started getting some screen issues that I am still tracking down of whether it's a logic board or not. But I digress. It's serving out my printers. I don't necessarily want to keep doing that. So this Samsung black and white could become the spare and off to the side, or I could sell it and go get a nice HP color laser with AirPrint, which allows me to print from my phone without needing a server in between. So that's kind of what you're wanting and what you're getting used to there. Kind of liking I have this dual chat thing going on with this Restream service I'm using. I wish it would kind of show me. It tells me how many people are online, but it doesn't necessarily tell me where and how many. So that's kind of crazy. Ooh, trying to get an echo. There we go. That's funny. Oh well, I was playing around and brought up a dual version of that. So if you heard an echo for a second, that was me being a dork and kind of playing around. But I hope you guys like the logo. Obviously, if we keep going, and if you're one of the people who shares out this a whole bunch, we'll get you in line for some swag. If you're going to help me market and have good things and share this out to people, tell them who sent you. If you tell your friends, tell them to come back and say, hey, Brian sent me. And maybe at the end of this month, whoever sends the most might get a little prize. We'll work on that. I'm going to play with that now and just see what happens, because I really want to beat my other friend Brian to the most subscribers on YouTube. So if you get people to come to the show, check it out. I'm pretty sure they'll like and subscribe. They may or may not. But if you get the most people on there, maybe I'll get you some type of I'll get you some type of prize. You'll get some type of likely swag or something along those lines. So just have them say who sent them. I'll ask where they came from, but once I get whoever had the most in the month, you might just get a little something extra for me to track you down and send something to you. So, just incentive to share to your friends. Like I said, if you're online, share it to your friends. See if they need help. If you hear people who need help, let them know. I'd appreciate it. I'm just trying to help them out. I don't make any money for this, so it's not like I'm sitting here raking in the dough if they jump on. It's really just me wanting to help people out with that tech knowledge. Anyone who's ever met me knows, to a fault, sometimes I overextend myself doing these tech things of liking to answer people's questions. But you know what? It's something I enjoy. So if I can help out your friends, let them know. Have them come here. Let them tell their friends. But in this case, this time, they tell them who sent you, or they say you sent them to me, you get a little prize at the end. We'll figure that out. So having said that, you'll see me more this week. If you have ideas for what days work good for a Geek Out session this week, that's where we'll be live answering those Q&A questions, covering a little bit of news. Let me know. It might be tomorrow, it might be Tuesday. It'll be probably any day except for Friday. But we're going to go live a few more times this week and test out this system a little bit more so that we can get a little bit more used to it. So I appreciate everyone who helped me test today. Otherwise, I'm going to sign off so you guys can get back to your night. I know it's kind of later. And again, I really appreciate, and I hope you guys all have a good time or a good one tonight. We'll catch you here soon. All right. Bye.